Hello, my name is Kreay, and today I'm going to be reviewing Chainsaw Man Chapter 199, titled Enjoy Your Food. This chapter was crazy, so let's get into it. It starts with Famby addressing, no, sorry. It starts with Death addressing Famby's claims of asking, why don't you just, K yourself? Death says, even if I could die, Death would be, a new Death Devil would be reborn, which is true. And if that new Death Devil doesn't enjoy humanity like Family does, then it would easily destroy humanity. And I think this shows a lot about this Death's personality. So because she said earlier to Nayuta that she enjoys human food and human food like pizza and stuff. And then she said to Yoshida and Fumiko that she likes to experience and savor human experiences in humanity. So this pretty much confirms that she wasn't lying at all. Like, she genuinely does like humanity, and she doesn't want to see humanity be destroyed in the age of devils to come. So even though she is Death, it doesn't mean she's a bad guy, if you know what I mean. But moving on, it cuts back to Fake Saw. He asks Death, can't you just not destroy mankind? And that is a good question. But Death pretty much confirms that on the day of the prophecy, for some reason, humanity's fear will be so strong and so at its peak that she will not be able to control herself and she will destroy mankind. So that means a month from now, something's going to happen that will cause Death to destroy humanity. And that something, theoretically, is maybe what Yoru has planned. And if you remember, Yoru said she wants nuclear bombs. Yoru is already extremely strong, and she has access to Denji and could theoretically get nukes back. So obviously we don't know exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with Yoru getting nukes and going on a world-destroying rampage with them. But continuing, Fammy rightfully says, why don't you just keep eating my chainsaw, man? Because then Death will be erased and there will be no more death in the world, which is true. Fammy, I keep calling her Fammy, but Death thinks about this and basically says, I have a good idea. If you two will cooperate, then mankind will not be annihilated. Both Fammy and Fake Saw agree, and asks to be let go, but Death says she can't let them go and she's going to eat them, which is crazy. Death eats Fammy and Fake Saw, and a bunch of crows come down and also starts eating them. People were saying that in part one, all the crows are Death watching Makima and Denji fight, but that's just not true, because we saw in the middle of part two, like around the Katana Man arc, that Makima can control crows too. So like, it's not that Death was watching Makima and Denji, more like Death is watching Denji now in part two, but in part one it was Makima. But anyway, continue. So we have a little funny moment where Falling asks how was the food, and Family says it wasn't delicious, and she's a little oof. I will say I am starting to like the Falling Devil a lot, like a lot. Like the Darkness Devil used to be, the Darkness Devil was my favorite primal, but now Falling is definitely my favorite primal. But then, continuing on, Death reaches into her mouth and pulls out a Fammy and Fake Saw Man figurine. And if you remember from the Falling arc, she used a Falling Devil figurine to summon and get rid of Falling. So she then summoned, she now is in control of Fammy and Fake Saw, and Falling confirms it, saying that your power enslaves living things you've killed, but is it truly necessary for you to eat them? So Death doesn't have to eat them, but she just has to kill something to control them, which is kind of like Makima's power, but stronger, I would say. Like, yeah, Makima's, okay, so going through it, Makima's is, she has to beat you / believe she's stronger than you to control you. Yoru is, she has to feel like she owns you to make you a weapon. Fammy's is, if we believe Death, then Fammy's is she can control whatever is starving, and now Death is she can control whatever she's killed. And I would think this is stronger than Makima's power because Makima can control things. Is it stronger? I don't know. I gotta think about it. But anyway, it's similar to Makima's. It's really similar to Makima's. But anyway, Death summons Fami and Facesaw back, in which Fami immediately punches Death and saying, "You ate us," and Facesaw is confused, saying, "Didn't we get eaten?" So it seems like, well, but I'm gonna say that for later. So he punches them, and Death says, "Wait," and says, "I order you to plunge mankind into abyss and terror." And Facesaw immediately switches, saying, "Gotta leave to me." And it seems like Fami can't say anything but salvation, and she agrees, basically to plunge mankind into darkness and into abyss and terror. So it seems like she can't fully control people she like is control of, because if you remember in the Prison Break section, the Guillotine Devil didn't immediately listen to Death like she requested, and now we see Fami doesn't either. So it's kind of like iffy, kind of, but we can see it does work. This chapter was crazy. A lot happened, a lot was revealed. I was hoping we would get her name, but I mean, we got her power, so that's even better, I would say. But yeah, I mean, part 2 is looking crazy. I mean, who knows what will happen next? I think we're going to cut to Asa and Denji and go from there. But also, I have a very important theory. For all the Nayuta fans, this is a strong case as to why Nayuta might be alive. It says, I'll repeat it again for a third time, anyone Death kills, she has the ability to control them. And she doesn't have to eat them, but in this chapter, I don't think I mentioned it, but Death said that she eats people because it's like appreciating life in a way, in her own twisted way. So, but in general, anyone Death kills, she can control. As we know, Barum, but we didn't see how Nayuta died. It was either the civilians, anti-Chainsaw Man civilians, or it was Barum, or it was Fami, or all three. Who knows? Or a mix of the three. The point is, we know Nayuta is dead, and Fami was there when we saw Nayuta's body. So theoretically, Nayuta could be a figurine that Fami has. And what I'm imagining will happen in the future is that when Denji confronts Death and or is about to beat Death, she will use a last-ditch effort, reach inside her mouth, and pull out the Control Devil figurine and summon Nayuta to fight Denji. And I think that will be the final, like, literally the nail in the coffin for Denji's mental state. Like, it'll literally destroy him completely. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? That's just what I'm expecting and speculating. But I hope you enjoyed the review video. The chapter was really good, and there's no break week, which is also amazing. And also, I got new eyes. They're black. I mean, I can switch between black and red, but I just want to try the black ones. But yeah, good chapter. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye. Everybody likes the video.